Hi, everyone. So, as you know, my name is Lauren Van Ost. I'm a Women in Climate member and volunteer, and I'm also the founding product manager at FutureProof Technologies, a climate tech that's focused on creating financial incentives for insurance companies to invest in climate resilience. So tonight we're going to be having a discussion about how to reduce our waste this holiday season. And the goal really is, as everyone's kind of been talking about, is how can we take small steps this year to make our holiday season a little bit more sustainable than it was last year. Sustainability and celebration are not mutually exclusive. Michelle said this a couple of times as she was doing her intro, but we really believe in creating a joyful space to talk about climate, and that definitely applies to this time of year and the holidays as well. So looking forward to hearing from our experts about some ways that we can join the two. So our panelists this evening are experts in low waste living, which is a movement to try to reduce the amount of waste that we create and therefore reduce the amount that we throw away. And so with that, I will hand it over to our two panelists to introduce themselves.
Hello everyone, I'm Larasati Vitoux, the owner and founder of Maison, a refillery and low waste grocery store located in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and we opened 8 months ago. So as you can hear from my accent, I am originally from France, and Maison means home, house in French, so the house of jar, and there's obviously the play word with mason jar. So as you can see on the, thank you. So Maison Jar is a one-stop shop for food, personal care, and home essentials, all without unnecessary packaging. And as you can see here from the silos, most of our products are sold in silos and jar, and we encourage our customers to bring in their own containers. Most of our products are organic, and we focus on local and conscious brands. And when I was building this project, something that was very important to me was community. I really wanted to be a staple and build a community in Greenpoint around zero waste living. And so for a couple of months now, we've been hosting some events at the store around low waste living, kitchen crafting, and do-it-yourself workshops.
Hi everybody, I'm Tatiana Gomez, she, they. I am the founder and CEO of Ceres Market, a plant-based and low-waste store. We are currently only online, and I started this project when I became scuba certified. We just found out we both are certified scuba divers, and so I found that it was kind of hard to lead a lifestyle where you could be both plant-based and plastic-free, so that's why I started Ceres Market. And I also have a full-time job in solar sales. I have a background in tech sales. That's actually how I met Michelle, was at Salesforce. I was working for their nonprofit organization. And I'm now at Sunrun, a solar company. So very much trying to help people with small day-to-day changes that they could be doing through Ceres Market, as well as big steps that they can be taking to reduce their impact through solar energy. So thank you so much for being here, and looking forward to connecting with you all.
Awesome. All right, well, let's kick this off and start talking about how we can reduce our waste this holiday season. So first, this is a question for both of you, so I'll give you each an opportunity to answer, but how can we be more thoughtful consumers this holiday season? Lara, why don't you kick it off?
So obviously, as a retail store, the holiday season was something that was very important. And what we've decided with the team is that we were going to highlight local and small businesses in the area. So, for instance, we brought in some soap and candle companies that were making their soap directly in Greenpoint. So, yes, something that could be important is actually to support local and small businesses. When you do so, your money goes so much further in the local economy. And something else that I also enjoy doing me personally is do-it-yourself gifts. So for instance, I love to sew, and I've like 2 Christmas ago, what I've done is that I bought like some cotton shirts and some nice fabric, and I just made some little pockets, and I gifted this to my friends and family. It took me like 10 minutes every shirt, and they really enjoyed it, and I feel that because it was something that was homemade, it also had a bigger impact.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of bucket this into 3 sections. We actually did a webinar last year on sustainable gift giving, and I tried to keep it as simple as possible, which is in 3 buckets. So one is thinking about the gift, whether it's going to be something materialistic or something experience-based. So if it is going to be something material, it could be from a sustainable shop, whether it's a local refill store, somebody like the Canvas, or a secondhand sort of store or market. Then the second bucket would be where you're actually sourcing it from, so that kind of like overlaps a little bit, but yeah, where are you getting it from? And then the third bucket is how are you gifting it? What's the material that you're using to wrap it up, whether it's you're reusing or repurposing something at home, or in getting creative. There was this one year I got my mom like a facial serum, and I used the paper towel roll to like put it in there, and then I like painted it and like made it look like a reindeer. So it's cute to like get creative with your gift wrapping. So keeping it simple, but also very sentimental, to Lara's point.
Yeah, I love all those creative ideas. Lara, I know at the Refill Market you're doing some initiatives around sustainable like gifting, gift wrapping. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the things that you're doing this season?
Yes, so at the store, we've set up a gift wrap swap box, and basically anyone that has like some leftovers gift wraps and they want to change and just donate them, they can put it at the store in a box, and someone else can pick it up. And we also have a lot of our personal care and home essential goods that are wrapped in a paper craft, and so we've also put them in the box so that other people can take them. Something that I do personally when for my birthday, for instance, instead of like just wrapping off the gift, if I like the gift wrap, I would just remove the tape very carefully and just keep it for a gift wrap in the future. So I think there's a lot of ways to gift wrap without buying a new one. As I know that like some people would say you don't even need a gift wrap, but having your gift being a surprise is also something that obviously people enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've talked a bunch about sustainable gifting, sustainable gift wrapping, getting creative there. How does all of this kind of apply to decorating? I mean, I know, at least for me, it's not really the holidays until I have some like Christmassy ambiance in my house. So how can we think about more creative, sustainable ways to deck the halls?
So there's a couple things. So think about like creating your own decorations, whether it's dehydrated oranges, using herbs, things like that. There's also just spicing up your decorations by like painting them or doing something else to them. So like at home we have like an artificial tree we've had for years now, and my mom wanted to do something different, and she ended up buying this like spray that like makes it look like snowy and frosty, and so she ended up doing that with the tree this year, and it looks really cute. But even just like repainting something that you already have, just to switch it up. So yeah, whether it's creating your own DIY sort of decorations or just spicing your current decorations up, they're 2 very simple, straightforward ways to go about it.
Awesome, thank you. So yeah, another kind of big part of the holiday season is hosting and parties. We're out on tonight. So as we think about how we can be more sustainable hosts and even guests at events, what are some ways that we can think about reducing our impact there? Lara, I think from your perspective, you own a refillery and grocery. What are some ways that people can think about maybe reducing food waste specifically?
Well, there's an obvious one, meal planning. I think it's important that to look at recipes to know how much quantity you need to get for your meal, and write it down before going to the grocery so you don't forget and you just take the right amount. I really liked also the idea of Michelle to ask your host, if you're doing a meal, a dinner with some friends or family, and they don't all live in the same household, to bring a Tupperware or something to bring home. I think that's a great one too. And if you have some leftovers afterwards, and you don't know if you're going to eat it in the week, the following week, think about freezing it as soon as possible. And then there's a lot of different recipes for leftovers like soups, pies, and so on. And finally, if you do have some scraps, don't forget to compost. I think composting is pretty amazing because it has a lot of benefit. Of course, it's great for the soil, but when you don't compost, it's actually very negative because the food scraps that land in landfills don't degrade, and on the contrary, they stay there and they create methane. So it's actually very important to compost.
And I'd like to add, given that we are a plant-based market, thinking about serving plant-based foods, we did another webinar earlier this year about eating for health and the planet, and really putting into perspective how animal products really do contribute to climate change. And so having or offering as many of those as possible is also great, not just for your health, but for the planet. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you both. All right. So then the last topic I wanted to talk about is around kind of philanthropy and giving back, another often big part of this time of year. So would love to hear from both of you if there are any organizations that you recommend in the New York area that support, zero waste living or, sustainability in general.
I really like Deliver Zero. I guess that many of you probably in New York City know about them. They're basically the takeaways in reusable. It's pretty easy. You can so you can order even through Caviar, and everything comes in reusable containers. Either you organize a pickup for the containers, or you can also drop them off in any participating restaurants. And so I like Deliver Zero as well because one of the co-founder, Lauren Sweeney, she has an amazing newsletter, a monthly newsletter around low waste living and reusables that I follow and that I highly recommend.
So I'm from New Jersey. Anybody here from New Jersey?
Yes.
Woo! Jersey in the house! Hey. So I would totally recommend checking if your local community has a green team or anything like that. I'm part of the Belleville Green Team, that's where I'm from. So checking out, what kind of community-based organizations you can be a part of. Fun fact, I'm actually going to be a contestant for Miss New Jersey in March. And so I'm planning on using, sustainability as part of my platform and advocating for an inclusive and circular economy. So trying to get involved as much as you can and just represent your values wherever it is that you go is super important. And you asked also about philanthropy and Ceres Market. We actually, this kind of ties into what Emily mentioned earlier about working with coastal communities. So we partnered with Sea Trees, and so with every purchase, we actually donate and plant mangrove trees through that partnership with Sea Trees. And this all ties back to the whole scuba diving certification and just wanting to give back and do something as part of the ocean. And I think that for me, that certification just made me realize how the animals, the ocean, it doesn't have a voice, we have to be the ones that stand up for it. And so that's really where a lot of this has come from in terms of going plant-based and plastic-free and trying to use, as many platforms as possible to be able to advocate for a more inclusive and circular economy.
Great, thank you. All right, so to wrap things up, as we look beyond the holiday and applying some of the principles that you both talked about, not just during the holiday season, but kind of in our day-to-day lives, do you have kind of a pro tip or your favorite thing that you recommend that people can take as a small step to make an impact?
So I think planning is important. Because for instance, in the morning, now I always try and take my reusable bowl, my reusable cup, and also my cutleries. Like this, I'm sure that I can use them throughout the day. But I think that's something that the ladies were mentioning just before in the other panel, is also starting small. It doesn't need to be, you don't need, perfection can be the enemy of the good. And when people come to the store, and it's the first time they're seeing a refillery and they want to shop there for the first time, I'm not telling them that they have to buy everything like this and just change their whole habit, like it's a consumer habit. So they can start, like for instance, with their hand soap ball or their dish soap ball, and they'll see that the more they do, the more they're gonna feel the gratification of doing this and seeing that they're putting less in their recyclable and in their trash, and they would want to do more. And actually, it's a virtuous circle just by starting small. Just small habits can make a very big difference.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. So I do coaching sessions through Ceres Market. So basically, like if you have anything, a milestone, or you just want help with trying to reduce, your waste, we can talk through that. And so the first thing that I actually recommend is doing sort of like a trash audit. I'm not saying go dumpster diving, but definitely like start thinking about like what it is that you're throwing out for like a week. Like, okay, threw this out, threw this out, threw this out. So doing a trash audit and just like the products that you're using in your day-to-day life. So something as simple as, plastic toothbrush, like switch over to a bamboo toothbrush. Toothpaste, like switch over to toothpaste tablets. So small things and products that you're using in your day-to-day. And to Lara's point, like it doesn't have to be like you literally like throw everything out that you have right now. No, you got to use what you have right now, right? So make sure that that's what you're most focused on before you go out and buy anything else, no matter how sustainable it is. So I would say that that's probably like the most important thing to do first, and reflect on what you're using every day.
Great. Well, thank you both. I know we are out of time, so we'll wrap up, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to our panelists and moderators tonight. We had really fascinating discussions, and I know this will have sparked a lot of conversation for tonight and also throughout this holiday season. So I also wanted to thank our sponsor, The Canvas, again for helping us put this event together. And I wanted to also thank Noy House for hosting us at this beautiful event space and for helping us make this a really special evening. So before everyone gets up, I just did have a few announcements to make. So if you have an orange wristband, that means you're registered for the dinner and you'll be able to get vegan food and drinks in the back corner over there. And secondly, I wanted to introduce also a fun little networking game so you can all meet some new faces. So on your name tag, you should have a colorful corner, and I'd love for you all to meet someone with a different colored name tag from you and ask them, how do you plan to be more sustainable this holiday season? And from the panel we just had, we have lots of tips to choose from. You can share your own as well. I also wanted to encourage everyone to take pictures and videos. Feel free to post on social media and tag us, tag the Canvas, tag Noy House. And two final reminders before for the end of the event. The first is that if you brought containers, please don't be shy on grabbing food. We will announce this at the end of the event, so you'll know exactly when this is happening. Lastly, I know we mentioned the name tags multiple times, but please don't forget to drop them off. There's a box in the front. We will be using them for future events. With that, I'd like to send you all off for the evening and wishing everyone a really happy holiday season. Thank you all for coming.
Amazing round of applause for our MC of the evening. It's not easy to do, I have to tell you. It's taken a long time to learn how to do it. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a party. I want to see you dancing, I want to see you eating, I want to see you chatting. But let's not forget, truly, as cheesy as it may sound, the amazing work that everyone is doing and the amazing work that still has to come. The best holiday gift we can give each other is Mother Earth. And so please continue to do the amazing stuff that you do. And thank you so much for letting us be a part of your amazing night. Have a good night.